Hey you guys, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be making coasters for the very first time with resin. So I got these cute little molds off of Amazon, and there's 4 of them. And I found this is just a box that I had here at the house. So I have them laid out in this box, and the reason why I did this box is because after you have your resin in there, I can easily cover these up so dust and particles doesn't land into my resin as they dry. So that's why I have this box here. The resin that I'm going to be using is by Naked Fusion. So it comes in 2 parts. You have your epoxy resin, which is your A, and then you're going to mix it with your epoxy hardener. Now, to figure out how much to mix, what I did was I just filled this up with water, and then I put it inside of my measuring cup. So you're going to need about 3 ounces for each mold that you are making. So that is 12 ounces. And what you're going to do is split that in half. So you're going to need 6 ounces of your resin and then 6 ounces of your hardener. So depending on which epoxy or which resin, I can't talk today, that you need for your project, just go on their website and kind of see or read the instructions to see how you mix. So this is a 50-50 mix, and I actually have my measuring cup here, and I'm going to mix it. I'm going to mix my 12 ounces in here, 6 and 6, and mix it together. You're going to want to make sure you mix for a good 3 minutes. We're going to mix that together. I'm also going to be adding mica colors, mica powders, and I have lots of colors to choose from. I also got these from Amazon by Let's Resin, and make my molds here, my coasters. I'm serious, I can't talk today. And we're going to do some little design with this. So this is the first one. If you guys are new to this, then we are new together, and we're going to walk through this together, step by step. Here we go.
A little tip is to take your resin, make sure it's not the hardener, place it in a warm bath before you start mixing it. This helps loosen it, makes it easier to mix, and reduces your air bubbles. Before I get started, I take a piece of tape and I go over my molds to remove any dust particles that may have fallen onto my molds. I want to make sure that my molds are really nice and clean. I chose to use the Naked Fusion resin because it is non-toxic. It doesn't have any chemicals, additives, or fillers. That makes it a really safe formula to use without using a face mask. You do want to make sure that you always wear gloves when working with resin. Another thing about Naked Fusion is that it's UV resistant and it doesn't yellow, so it's going to stay nice and crystal clear, and that's another reason why I really like this. So we're going to take the resin and we're going to mix. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so I'm mixing 6 ounces of the resin to 6 ounces of the hardener. And you want to make sure that you mix this thoroughly for at least 3 minutes, and make sure that you scrape the edges and the bottom of the container as you're mixing to ensure that all of your resin and your hardener is mixed together. Another tip is to make sure that your room temperature or your working area has a temperature of over 70 degrees. This helps with your resin and make sure that it's going to stay nice and fluid as you're working with it. Once you mix your resin, you have about 45 minutes to work with it before it starts to harden. If for some reason you add more hardener in with your resin, it could, of course, harden faster, or if your room temperature is higher than that 70-degree mark or closer to 80 degrees, then it's going to harden faster. So what I'm doing here is I have my mica pigments, and I just have a small amount of the powder. You do not need a lot to get the color that you're looking for. And once my epoxy is mixed, I am mixing that in to get the colors that I want. This beautiful purple here is by Let's Resin. I got this off of Amazon, and I will have the links below for you. And this is just purple is the color. And it's a beautiful purple. So I just did a small amount of powder in there. You can see how small I did. Once I get that mixed, it's going to give me the color that I want. And then I'm going to mix the epoxy in with the other colors. The other colors you see here is sky blue and silvery white. And then I also have some beautiful gold chips there. So I will link all of that below for you for Amazon. So now I'm just going in with my different colors. I start with the purple, then I'm going to add my blue and then white. The white was absolutely gorgeous. It has this iridescent glow to it. And then I'm going to add in the very center my gold. As you'll notice through this video, you're going to see that I'm using my heat gun. It's actually like a small torch gun, and I use that in between my pores to push out the air bubbles that the epoxy created. So I'm going to also link all of that below, so you can see exactly what I'm using. But it's important to make sure that you get all of your air bubbles. And I did notice because I mixed a little too fast, not slow enough, that my epoxy gathered a bunch of air bubbles. So I wanted to make sure that I blew all of those out as I poured. So in between each pour, you'll notice that I did use my torch to make sure that I got those air bubbles out. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, could these not be any more gorgeous? I absolutely love the colors. As you store these, make sure you store these in a very level area, and you want to cover them to protect them from any dust particles. So I am going to see you guys again in about 24 hours to see how these turned out. All right, guys, it's been 24 hours. So pretty. All right, so let's take them out of the mold. All right, so here is the reveal. So we're just gonna loosen the edges and pop her out. So I will link these molds specifically below because this is a pretty easy mold to, except for that one area there. Ooh, so there's the back. And there is the front. Oh, I think it turned out great. What do you guys think? I love the colors. I really like the mold. And they're easy to pop out, which I'm surprised with because we did not put anything in the mold to help make them come out easier. So pretty. Look at that. Could not be any more gorgeous. If you guys decide to make your coasters, feel free to tag me. I would love to see them. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous.